G'day. Today is yesterday. It would be the 29th day, but today is actually the 30th day. We couldn't do our recording yesterday because as we walked from Palestere to Arzu, which is in the background behind me here, our longest walk, 28 kilometers, I did over 50,000 steps yesterday, the longest walk of our Camino. It was just wet and miserable, and really there was nowhere to stop and to do a reflection. So here we are, the day after, looking back on the day before. It was a uneventful walk in one sense. We left Palestere and we missed Pombray Castle. As you come out of Palestere, about a kilometre, on the right-hand side is a little cottage down in the beautiful little cottage down in a river valley, and just at that point there's a turn to the left, which goes down to Pombray Castle, a 14th century castle, very much intact. It was a military operation built for that, but also for the defence of pilgrims as they walked past. That bit I can't quite work out because Camino doesn't go past Pombray Castle per se, but you can take a detour down there. So we continued going through little villages, all of which were closed up at this time of year. We passed a couple of interesting little points of interest. Through one of the towns, there was an old communal washing place there, where there were the slabs where the water could just come into this rectangular and covered area where the women, could just bash the clothes against the particular rocks that were there to clean and wash. Just 2 centuries ago maybe, long before the invention of washing machines, which probably were in the last 80 years, quite frankly. Going on, there was another interesting thing called a cabazo. And the cabazo was an ancient way of storing grain. And the wicker, the cane, is woven around the bottom with a straw thatched triangular top, cone top. And that's one of the few surviving cabazos, in Spain. But it just reminds us of what, again, life was like going back the centuries, I would say going back the millennia. Because when I spoke yesterday, or the day before, of the 2,500-year-old diggings that we discovered, it said that originally they were made from vegetable. I think that that's a mistaken translation, and I would say from vegetation, and that back in the pre-Iron Age there, a bit like the Three Little Pigs, the houses were made out of wood and straw before they became brick, stone, like the foundations that are left there. Going on, we came to Melide, and Melide is a vast city on the Camino. You come around the corner as you approach Melide. We were quite surprised because we had 28 to go, and at about 12 and a half, we came upon Melide. We were expecting it to be another 1.5 kilometres further on. Came around this corner, and there before us was the old Roman bridge. Again, the arched Roman bridge, 4 arches back to the 12th century. And, it just struck me, I was so looking forward to seeing that bridge again, because it had been a real highlight of my first Camino. Perhaps because of the fact that I stopped to help a young man who was in his early 20s, and this is only back 5 years ago, 2018, and he had a Kodak Instamatic camera, you know, the ones with the roll of film. Here he was in his 20s, and this is what he had, and he asked me to take a photo of him in front of the bridge. Well, I mean, I was quite nervous about it, because with this thing, I just click and delete anything that's rubbish. But I had to make sure where there was just a roll of 36 films, photo exposures. Remember those days that I got it right the first time, because I couldn't just waste the exposures. Anyway, I just connected with this young man, and we joked a bit. He was taking this photo for his grandmother. Maybe it was his grandmother's camera, I don't know. But it was this memory, and so I just saw this bridge, and so I was so looking forward to seeing it again. And it was just disappointing. It was just another Roman bridge. Yes, the arch there with the reflection on the water, but it had become overgrown and whatever else. And as I reflected today, I thought, you know, what I've done in looking back is that I have enhanced memories. Because there are another walk, later in the day, as we came across a cantilevered stone bridge over a river after Malede, I had the most beautiful memories of this bridge. And we saw it. You know, if you're doing the walk, you'll love it. You'll come across it. It's just across this stream in the midst of the photo here is on the side. In the midst of the forest. And again, I looked at it, this is not how I remembered it. You know what, I even went back and looked at my photos 5 years ago, and they weren't any much different from my photos yesterday. I thought, I've enhanced. Isn't it true, so often we look back on the good old days and enhance the best things and think how great they were, but don't actually remember with a true reality. And how important it is, therefore, that we really do learn to live in the present and not hold the past as so sacredly precious that we miss out on the blessings of today. For example, we were just speaking with some Camino friends who were walking past this very spot here. And I said, look, there's Arzu from which we've just come. And they looked, what? And they looked over. They were amazed. And I said, oh, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that wonderful? You know, they would have walked straight past without seeing this view if I didn't point it out. Engaging with the present and looking for the beautiful things of the present rather than enhancing the past or making the future look too golden. We live in the present. So we continued our walk into Arzu here in a little town. Just before we come to Arzu, there was the well, it's no longer there, but the limestone foundry. Now, I mentioned before, way before Tria Castella, but in the Tria Castella day video, that pilgrims would pick up limestone and carry them from the mines there in the town, the other side of Tria Castella, and carry the limestone to this town here in just near Arzu. Now, I tried to work out, and I thought, oh, they must be doing it for money. I said, you know, they pick it up and get paid a few francs for carrying the limestone. But I've since found out, no, that's not why they carried the limestone at all. They brought the limestone to the kiln here, near Arzu, for processing to be sent down to Santiago for the building of the cathedral. And in that way, the pilgrims contributed to the building of the cathedral, the building of the house of God. Hey, how do we in our lives contribute to the building of the spiritual temple in which God dwells. Have a look at Ephesians 2 at the end of the chapter there. I think it's about 22, 23, 24, about God building this spiritual temple out of living stones. Anyway, just another reflection, heaps of reflections. In fact, we'll mention now our reflection for the day because, again, it was poignant. The 12th rule of Ignatius is that cut temptation at the beginning. It's inevitably going to strike like, the enemy is like a prowling lion, just roaming around, ready to strike. But Ignatius says when temptation comes, strike it down at the beginning. Turn to the Lord for help then and there, and don't play with it, because it's like a snowball. A snowball at the top of a mountain will just begin to develop, and if you grab it at the top of the mountain, you can grab it and stop it. But if you let it just roll on, just playing with it, it just gathers more and more momentum and more mass, till it becomes this thing cascading down the mountain beyond our being able to capture it and control it. And that illustration was used in terms of temptation. Our meditation for the day was on the road to Emmaus. And James and I reflected on how wonderful it was that, there were two disciples walking along the road between the villages. That's what we were doing. We were imagining what Jesus would say to us. Lord, please open our hearts more and more to your scriptures. But jokingly, we thought he might say to us, boys, just postpone your tickets, do a thing and go walk from Lisbon, or go back to St. John and start again. No, Jesus didn't say that. But that was our fantasy, perhaps. No, our joke. But what was he saying? Certainly in some way speaking into our heart and starting to really gather the lessons of Camino into our heart, which I'll reflect on more tomorrow. So yes, that's really our reflection today from our 28-kilometre walk from Palas de Rey to Arzu behind us here, and thank God this day, our 30th day, it's not raining, certainly overcast, and we can stop and make yesterday's report. God bless you.